So we're here on the Janssen show. Unfortunately, I'm not Janssen, but you are on the show. So this is our first run here with a couple of new things. We've got our green screen going. We have a new set provided by Mattress Land. And we have our premier guest to date, Ashley Gerich, who is a mayoral candidate coming up this year in Bullhead City, correct?
Yep, in 2022.
2022. So what do you think? How'd we do?
I think it looks great. I had to move a couple things over, but
we had a little discussion about the pigs and the football, and then had to explain how we got to this point. So here we are. Tell me a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Well, my name's Ashley Gerich. I have been in this town probably about 26 years plus. I'm from Anaheim, California, and I grew up here. Went to school here. I'm actually a high school dropout. So
congratulations.
Thank you very much. I got my GED at MCC and was a parent, small business owner from the time that I was 18 years old. Sold that business and kind of like moved off into different businesses. And then I decided that the business that I was in, because I was a groomer for a long time, a pet groomer. So that's pretty
high
interesting.
Demand still. Donnie Reynolds looking for a groomer, huh? You missed your window.
There you go. So I decided that as a young parent that working smarter instead of harder was probably the best way to go. So I went back to college after probably 8, 9, 10 years and got my bachelor's in organizational leadership from Arizona State University. And then I finished that and went on to law school. And I am now a Juris Doctor candidate through Mitchell Hamlin School of Law.
Hold on. I actually don't know what that is, so you got to tell me.
Okay. So I'll be an attorney in 5 months. I take the bar exam in 7. Right now I work for the county prosecutor's office, state v. whoever. And
I hope I don't run into you then.
Well, I guess you should be a good boy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you stay out of trouble.
I've been hearing that for 39 years. Someday I'm going to get it. So
I've been hearing the same, but opposite. So, yeah, I have been working as an extern for probably on and off the past year. I plan on being employed by the county prosecutor's office or the county attorney's office. Right now, I just do it for credits, and I just won my first case.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
very exciting.
Yeah, and so I'll be an attorney in about 5 months.
So, first of all, where are you going to find time? But second of all, what made you want to run for mayor?
First of all, time. I don't think anybody has much time whenever anybody says, well, I'm not ready for that, or how do you find the time? I think that, excuses kind of come into play, right? I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to make dinner. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to...
You just knocked out my 3 I don't have time fors.
There you go. I don't have time to, do public service. But for me and my family, I kind of make it a habit for us to all to do public service. I'm currently on the Colorado River Union High School Board. I was elected in this last year. Like I said, I just try to do everything I can to show the kids, my children. I'm raising 5 kids, so I try to show them that it's important to do your public service, be a good citizen, and do good for other people.
So we actually met years ago at what I ended up finding being my public service in my own eyes, which is youth sports. And it was very interesting for me to get out. Previous to that, I really lived in my own little bubble and find out how much need there was out there in the community. And that's led to me coaching youth football, basketball, whatever other random things come up for about the last 8-9 years. So you've been doing this a while too.
Right. You are actually my son's coach for football, so
Made him run a lot.
I bet you
Lift
did.
lots of weights.
He's now taller than me, and he is way stronger than me, which is unfortunate.
That's how we like him, bigger than mom. That's important.
I guess it is for football, but no offense, but I'm a super wrestling fan. I love being a wrestling mom, and I'm super excited because today at the field house, they are having wrestling at 2 p.m.
Is that the field house?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 p.m. I got a bunch of, I'm going to try and get down there myself because I got a bunch of my kids that I started coaching football with 6-7 years ago who are now wrestlers, and I like to keep an eye on them, see how they're doing. And,
Yeah.
I think it's really important that people are present and, showing up is such a big thing because so many people don't, unfortunately, for whatever reason. I know everybody's got stuff going on, but it's such a big thing.
Right. So to go back to piggyback on that, going back to why I want to be mayor is because I do raise kids in this town, and I've grown up in this town, and I've seen it grow so much. But I've also seen, some of the things that we're lacking in, whether it be economic development, fiscal responsibilities, budget allocation, public safety, or I always like to use the homeless epidemic as an example because it has risen pretty high as far as, especially right now because of COVID, and we're open. A lot of places around the United States aren't open, so we're pretty fortunate. But so I want to show my children that it's great. This is a great place to, first of all, live. Second of all, grow up. And then also come back to after you leave for college. You come back and you are going to, live here as adults, right? We do. And I think that sometimes we get lost in the fact that this is a retirement community, right? And so my whole thing is, instead of getting lost in the fact that we have, our snowbirds or our, summer visitors, we also have people raising children here, and we also have people working class citizens that sit here like yourself, go out and do public service, be a football coach, a basketball coach, and
amateur weight coach.
Amateur weight coach, yeah. But yeah, so I just want to make this place more habitable for the people like you and myself.
Yeah. And, I think us who are probably ingrained in it for the most part realize, and we live with our kids so much as far as their day-to-day, what they're involved in, that the average person who's not in the middle of it doesn't realize how senior focused or tourist focused this area is. It's really surprising.
Exactly. So for me, I'm always out there. I'm always, whether I'm out in the community, out doing volunteer work, whatever I'm doing, usually my kids go with me. I go to events and my children go with me so I can show them, this is what life's about.
I drag my kids with me everywhere. They don't always appreciate it, but I take them everywhere.
I don't know if they ever appreciate it, but they will eventually. But yeah, so I think we do get lost in the fact that we have our general population that's here all year round, that works their butts off, their tails off, and they're constantly...
You can say butts on the show, it's fine.
Okay.
I won't tell Janssen you said it.
Oh, please don't. I don't know. He would probably make some smart aleck comment to that.
He's way funnier than I am. I guarantee you that. So,
I did say that this show should be called JanDaddy928.com, but
I think we talked about that.
I'm sure you did, because I know him as JanDaddyV928, and that's what he...
Janssen, I told you that was good branding. Good job.
It really is, because everybody knows him as that. So, but anyways, I think that I'm super excited. I'm outgoing. I'm sometimes outspoken, and I'm
no way.
No way. I'm ready for the challenge, right? So, I sat down with my kids, and I was like, "Is mine too close?"
No, I don't know. I keep wanting to touch my face, and it's right there, so I feel self-conscious about it.
So I sat down, talked to my kids about it, and I said, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to run for mayor. And they were like, that's great, but do we have to come to all the meetings? And I said, no, but if you would like to, you're more than welcome to. And, some of them were like, yeah, we'll go. And the other ones were like, we'll stay home and we'll just watch you on the live. But yeah, so it's a family venture. And so I think we need to get back to the grassroots of family.
Yeah, I would not argue with that at all. Of course, I'm, very much like you in that grew up here, moved here when I was a kid, went to high school here, raising kids here. So obviously we share very similar perspectives in that. Now you had to deal with one of the hot topics here in town. You want to care to weigh in on the traffic? We both caught the same traffic on the way in. They're fixing one of the lights or something.
So the great thing...
I was driving here freaking out. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be late. She's like, I'm on my way. I said, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, we were both... I thought it was an accident, but it was actually just the stoplight that was...
Yeah, I think they're fixing the light.
It's flashing red. So everybody had to stop. But, so traffic. You want to talk about traffic?
No, I really don't. It scares me. The traffic's crazy. And, if I understand correctly, they have started on the bridge.
They have, yes.
So that should alleviate some of it. And
they got a great grant for that. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the city. And, I think that they took a long time figuring out where it was supposed to go or where it should go. But I think, overall, that'll be a great place, especially because, hopefully the field house will be a tourist trap here in the near future. And I think it's already started. So
I think it has already started. Being in that football world, we'd like to get in there from time to time. And
all the time.
Yeah, well, I'd like to be in there all the time. I'm a little greedy myself. I like air conditioning and throwing the football. So
I don't know any kid that likes Hell Week, but
especially here. And I think most of our viewers are probably local, but those who don't. Our Hell Weeks are 115 degrees. It's pretty rough. So essentially you look at a heat index, you go, well, we can't do this today. We can't do that today. So it's pretty challenging. And that field house is actually a huge blessing for those kids who are playing.
Definitely.
And, we saw last year, like you mentioned, with Bullhead City being open, the field house was booked up almost every week.
Field
for
house.
Something going on.
All of the fields, through the high school. It's pretty great to see a lot of the people were coming in to just congregate here because we were so laxed in our, our policies. But
I like that word, laxed.
Laxed.
That worked out well for me all summer.
But traffic. So we just got in our budget through the state representative. They're going to be working on our road soon, just like they did around Corwin. They'll also be doing it throughout Bullhead City. So Leo Biasucci, our state representative for this district, has worked very hard and Sonny Borelli, our senator for this district, have worked very hard to allocate that budget to work on our roads here. And then maybe I can, not have to go through tires way too much. But
is that who the opposition is? The tire shops in town? Is Big Findlay trying to keep the tire business going?
Goodness.
Is that what it is?
No. But we would like to drive in, without going through a pothole every
So
stop.
I used to live just right around here. We filmed this at the used car center in Fort Mojave, and it was in Fort Mojave, so you're safe. It's not a city issue, but and it would be like the worst wake up ever. You're driving to work, and it was bounce you all over. It's like driving over a cheese grater some days. So
especially right there at Camp Mojave. I don't know if you remember that. There was this huge pothole. It was terrible. Finally they fixed it. So that's good.
No, I know that it's super challenging, and it's even the situation with the tourists and the snowbirds is kind of a bittersweet problem in that they are good for businesses. They are part of our community, and you got to manage the crowds that come with it, and the displacement of locals. I don't know what the answer is, but I sure look forward to seeing somebody at least actively look out for the families and the locals.
Exactly.
So.
The first time I sat down really thinking about what was my why. And my why is obviously my children, right? But also, I'm a small business owner in the area. I have also been a child in this area. I want to make sure that everything that we're doing, it's not just focused on those outsourced resources that are coming in, and instead try to build what we have and kind of flourish that portion of our city. But yeah.
No, I think it's a great way to look at it, and the way I always look at it is an investment. You don't necessarily see the same return right away, but these kids are the future. They are the people who are going to be here. How many times do we see people come and not stay?
Yes.
And it's really hard to keep up a quality community when you don't have folks invested with roots.
Exactly. You have, we just got DOT a couple years ago, and that was a great opportunity for the city. But we also have a lot of local businesses that are here and that have already been here and stayed here and been very loyal to our community and helped grow our community and our economy. So I think I, personally would like to see more incentives for them, our local businesses, our small businesses, the people that are trying to start small businesses, and keep it local. It's a very important attribute to our communities.
Yeah, it really is. And my ex-wife is a small business owner here in town.
Yeah, I know.
So I hear about it all the time because her kids are my kids, so if she does well, I'm pretty happy about it.
Right.
But I was amazed. She has looked into doing some other things in town. It's been challenging, really challenging to get going, and it is kind of odd coming out of this COVID because we have no idea what it looks like anymore. COVID was such a weird anomaly, and obviously we're not out of it, but it's pretty tough to navigate that world.
Yeah, especially because, like I said, we're kind of like in this bubble, and so our surrounding areas have no. They do not reflect our community whatsoever.
A bubble is a good word for it.
Yeah, our bubble.
This is a movie. You walk through a portal and you're like,
yeah.
Whole different world, and you come here and you're like, oh, it's the old world, the normal world. Yeah.
But so yeah, it's really interesting to see. Even like outsourcing things or supply chain issues that are happening right now. We have a lot of them. And a lot of people like myself, I have a small retail business as well. And I'm actually going to have to close down because, first of all, I can't get the products that I need. Prices have risen, gas prices have risen. So even just getting the product, even if they have it in stock, you're paying an outrageous amount for them to actually deliver it. It's a delivery fee.
Now listen, I know nobody wants to hear woe is me about Findlay, but we have the same problems. The prices went up on everything. Everybody comes in and they're like, why is this so, last year it wasn't that bad? You're like,
well, it's true.
We live in this world too. Like it's everything that gets delivered, and obviously, if we get engines shipped, they're very heavy. The shipping's very expensive. Fuel went up. And that has all trickled down and made it challenging for everybody. I mean, trust me. If we could sell things cheaper, we'd sell more stuff. That's what we would do.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to have turnover in your product. But the fact is, it's funny. I saw a meme, and it was a Land Rover, and it was like MSRP at $180,000, but they were selling it for $284,000, and that's just an example of what's happening right now and why these things are going up in price, because right now, in order to even get a truck,
I'll tell you the shame version of that is I have a nice truck. I'm very happy with my truck, and I've been wanting a bigger truck. I miss my big old diesel and all that. I
don't know why he needs a bigger truck.
All that shenanigans. Okay. I'm that guy, okay? And so I go up and I ask the sales manager, I say, guys, when you have a diesel coming in that's not already pre-sold, let me know. I want to take a look at it.
Right.
And they basically looked at me like I kicked their dog or something, and they pulled out this stack of deals of pre-sold diesels coming in. And there's just a list. And
you're not on it.
I am not on it. Listen, I am low priority. You guys are way more important than I am in Findlay every day, I promise. So.
Every day, yeah, exactly.
So, but we see that too, and it makes it hard because we've had great customers over the years that we would love to get them what they want, and we can't, and it just creates a real tough situation.
It really does, I agree. But
so we just need the mayor of Bullhead City to fix it all.
You know what? I don't think she can, and I say she because I plan on winning the mayoralship. But I don't think that. First of all, you're out in Fort Mojave, you guys. If you know where it's located, it's not in the city. But there's only so much a mayor can do, and I think I'm gonna do what I can to do my best to make sure I do all of those things. But my number one goal is to make sure that our general public, I am out there with them, and I'm basically holding their hand through the way. Like, I don't think I've heard on several different occasions, oh, this wasn't brought up at a city council meeting. And I'm like, well, why should it have to be brought up in a city council meeting? We have like 45,000 population. Why is it something that hasn't, why are we not out in our community? Why do we need somebody to come and bring it to the council to know what's happening? And I think that it's really important as like for someone like myself, I hear things all the time. It doesn't need to be brought up to me through a meeting per se.
So I agree completely. I have seen a little bit of that myself in other realms where, you should follow the right processes in a perfect world. But if you're aware of an issue, you shouldn't ignore it because it wasn't followed through the process.
Exactly.
It's a very odd thing that happens, and working in the private world of a car dealership is probably not the world to come from if you're going to compare it to, working local government. But
right.
I'd like to see a little bit more of that, just what I call common sense, but I don't know what you call it in the government. So.
I call it leadership. For me personally, I call it leadership because, even as a school board member, I go out and anybody that I meet that works for the school, I ask them, how are things to you? Why is this important to you? How is it going for you personally on this level as an employee of the school? Or, what can I do, even though, I'm only one board member, what can I do to make it better? Can I put that on the agenda for you? Can I talk to you about it? Even if I'm just lending an ear to your issue, I think it's way more important than just not acknowledging it.
And how long have you been on the school board?
I've been on the school board for about a year now.
About a year?
It's been very fun.
I was just going to say, was it surprising? Did you know what you were getting into, or was it, what you wanted to get into?
So I actually thought about running for city council, and I pulled my papers to be a candidate last time around, or last election season. But then we had schools shut down. And mind you, I do raise 5 children, and so I was homeschooling 5 children.
Right? Just 5 Zooms every day, right?
It was almost unbearable. On top of being a student myself and running a business. So, my path led me into a different direction where I thought I could do the most good. And for me, my thing was, I want to get the schools open. I want to make sure that, for me personally, if you want to wear a mask, you wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, you should have that right to choose. And so that was one of my goals. My goal was to maybe revamp some leadership within the organization. And I think that everything that I've set out to do, even if because it is a team effort, I think that I can say that everything that I set out to do personally has really come to fruition, and it's happened. I still today, there's so many things coming out of the woodwork because we didn't realize what was happening. For me personally, because I was a new board member, but every time something comes up, I try to put it on the agenda or, address the situation. It was a lot.
Well, again,
it was a lot.
In my little microcosm of that is trying to put a football team together, keep football players in the world. And I was amazed, obviously not this year, last, when given the option, every single one of them would rather be in school. They hated the distant learning. They hated all that stuff.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Terrible.
And then you come back and you get over that hurdle, and then you get back to the new hurdles of families dealing with jobs and eating, and really, really serious things. And that's the everyday hustle of some of these kids. They got to figure out what they're going to do every day. So
yeah, and that's where it's at.
You don't know if it's not something you deal with.
Yeah, and that's where it's at. That's the heart of our city. Are those kids? And I used to be one of those kids. You used to be one of those kids. We were there. So it's really great to see our community come together, especially because we were able to get grants for the children to be able to eat food. Our community really is such a great and unique structure because we're so close-knit. We've crossed paths for the last 9 years. So, I've crossed paths with our, I don't even know what I would call him, our our producer.
We just call him Arganda.
We would,
It's
the
like
producer,
describing.
I would even, I've crossed paths with him. So I think, we have such a unique structure that I think we should definitely work on that. Work on the people that we have here locally.
Yeah. We are very active and very involved in our community, and I can tell you that I've been at Findlay a long time, and it's not important how long, but I've been there a long time. And we've always had good community support, but it has grown over the last few years. I mean, more people come out than ever. It's funny, we go out and donate things, and it's like a competition. Like, oh, someone's already donating that. I guess we'll donate this. Like, but what a great problem to have.
We've all noticed. Okay, we've all noticed.
What do you mean? But and that's where, when you do live here and you do know where you came from, those problems are good problems. Like in the Findlay world, we'd like to be on top of the hill, but at the end of the day, Coach Shane, Dad Shane, seeing other people help and support, because no one can cover everything. No one can do it all.
Right.
It's really good to see our community, and I think that it would be nice to, have everyone on the same page. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but...
Yeah, I think that's called human nature. That's never going to happen, and that's okay. Because
no, let's change human nature today, right now. The Janssen shows where it happens.
There you go. That's the great thing about people, is that we have so many different tasks that we all put in, and we're all professionals at something different, and so it makes it one big whole.
Yeah, you don't want me representing you in any law form, so.
Well, good thing I only represent the state as
the state doesn't
as a
want me
student
helping
so
them
far.
either, so.
But even in that sense, we all have our parts to play, and I think that the reason why I would make a good mayor is because I like to think of myself as a good listener, and I think that listening to the people and the constituents is really important. I think it's going out there and making sure that the problems are there, and then acknowledging them, or if maybe I've made a mistake, acknowledging that mistake and coming out and being transparent.
Now, again, I'm not a good political person here, but I'll tell you, I am so amazed that more people can't just be like, yes, we tried our best, it didn't work out, we think we should adjust this way and move forward. It's like all or nothing. Like, I'm going to dig my heels in and I'm just going to...
Right, it doesn't matter.
It's so bizarre to me. Like, we all live in a real world. We know how it works. Like,
right,
not everything works out.
It's like children. Nope. But and everyone knows that it's happened and they did it.
100%.
But they'll never, ever, ever say, yeah, I did it, I'm sorry, you know.
It's very odd. So if you had one goal, when you get in, what would your one guiding goal be? Assuming you get elected mayor.
I get elected mayor.
What is your one big goal that you want to accomplish?
Oh gosh, you know what? That's impossible to answer, because there's not just one big goal other than working on our working class citizens, our general population that's here all year round. I think that's my main goal, of growing our economy here and our local people. But I want to do like a lot of small things, whether it be taking away that atrocious fence that's always put up during summertime. It's awful.
So ugly. It looks like an 80s concert, right?
Yeah, I'm like, well,
I'm sorry, guys.
Maybe with the revenue that we get, we can put up a nice little like I don't know, block fence, wrought iron, who knows? But I definitely want to work on stuff like that, or recruitment for police officers. Make sure that our police officers are paid a nice living wage, because the sad part is, inflation is real, and it's really happening here. We see it. People's rents are rising to ridiculous levels because we have people coming in. You have realtors in this area that tell you on a daily basis they can't keep a house on. There's no houses on the market. It's so behind. Nobody can buy a home right now because everybody's just pulling them up.
Yeah, it's very interesting that the actual national inflation is like accelerated here because of where we are located. It's a very, very interesting thing. So it sounds like a big, huge, daunting task. I'm very excited that you're taking it on.
Hopefully, yes.
And not me.
Or me. I don't want to do it either.
Yeah, no. So we really appreciate you coming down.
Thanks for having me.
By all means, if you have something you'd like to say to the people, and guys, please check it out. Share this. It's fun. And the more people that are aware of things going on and what's happening and who's trying to fix it, the better. So give us a like, give us a share.
Yes.
And if you have any questions for her, leave in the comments. She's going to answer every single one.
I'm definitely going to try. I really am. I've got my own Facebook page now. It's Ashley Gerich for Bullhead City Mayor. I definitely try. There are some comments that I really can't answer for you, but because I've even been asked, am I
she doesn't know
Daenerys
about the UFOs.
Targaryen?
Okay.
I was like, no, yeah, exactly.
We got to win a couple more elections before we get to the alien level, right? So
just a couple, but yeah, no. All I want to say is that I'm going to get into office, and when I do, I'm going to make all of our general public proud by listening to what they have to say, by addressing problems that they think is important, and doing my best at the job in general, and doing my best, overall. And that we need some new leadership in town. We need younger people like ourselves to sit there and get into some local government.
Refer to me as young. I'm happy now.
Our working class economy, and I think it's time for us to have a chance. And I'm going to be that person for you. So,
very cool.
Vote for
we
Ashley.
Appreciate it. Thanks
you.
for coming by.
Thank you, Ashley, for being on the show.
Thanks, guys.
That's it. We're out of here.